Welcome to another episode of Core NFL Preview. My name's Legacy.
And I'm Max.
I'm Bobby.
I'm Jay.
And Hunter.
All right, so last year we had our first ever NFL preview. We also had our weekly NFL show. People seem to enjoy it. So we're bringing it back now that the NFL season's coming through. We're going to predict each division as well as tell you what we think about playoffs, our winners for awards. And at the end of the year, after the Super Bowl, we are going to come back to this and see what happened and talk about our predictions and see who got the most things right. So, gentlemen, are you ready?
Always.
I guess.
Some excitement at all. Okay, cool.
We're
You
Panthers
all-
fans. We can't get too excited.
Hey, we got a new quarterback, baby.
Yep.
We try and start off with the most predictable divisions first that we think we're all going to agree on and kind of go from there. So I feel the division we're going to agree on most is going to be the AFC South.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Well, I think it's clear and obvious. The only team worth a damn in this division is the Jaguars. They actually have upside. I can see them actually making some waves this year. Trevor Lawrence is surrounded by weapons on offense. The defense is still probably but it's definitely enough to where they're the clear favorite for this division. And honestly, if anyone picked anyone but the Jaguars, I would question what they're thinking.
Pretty much.
I mean, the only other team you could even entertain would be the Titans.
I suppose there's a possibility if CJ Stroud is like this amazing rookie, which I think he's going to be pretty decent, but I don't know if he's going to be that much
Same
good.
with Anthony Richardson, but with no Jonathan Taylor first week.
Bro.
Yeah, no.
Well, let's get into that real quick. I think the Colts are already doing a terrible job with Anthony Richardson. They're already stunning his growth by pissing off the star running back. Jonathan Taylor and our RPS system with Anthony Richardson would have been the money.
I think I'm being generous. I gave them 4 wins, and that's being nice.
Yeah, that's where I have them.
I had them finishing slightly above the Texans. I had the
Oh,
Texans
no. I think the Texans still finish above it. The Colts are just that dysfunctional.
All right, let's everybody say their order. Max, what's your order?
Yeah. So I think mine's will be pretty much a consensus besides Bobby here. Jaguars, Titans, Texans, Colts.
That's what I have.
I have Jags, Titans, Texans, Colts.
Bobby has Indianapolis, then Texans. The Colts
That's
are
right.
so dysfunctional, and Jim Irsay's such a bad. Now that Snyder's gone, I'm guessing Irsay's taken over as worst owner.
He would even compete with Ursay at this point for worst.
Jerry,
Yeah, seriously.
like I don't know.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
Jerry Jones could
Jerry,
have.
But
Jerry's team actually gets like they have good seasons. They'll have decent
Yeah, they
seasons time to
actually
time. They just never have
Yeah.
play success. So
Yeah.
you know,
So no one's competing.
no,
Jerry
not with
Orca had to
Irsay.
spend $18 million to save an Orca, man. He couldn't use that on Jonathan Taylor. He already spent it.
I'm tired of this running back disrespect, but like you don't have to pay him like you used to.
Jim Irsay, you can't be like, yeah, we're not going to pay you, but then ask for a first-round pick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
doesn't
don't
make
work
sense.
that
It's because
way.
he's coked out.
I mean, I'm also with that same mindset of like, I get why they're not paying running backs because you look at all
Because
the past
they don't
Eagles
equal Super Bowls.
champions.
They don't equal Super
Yeah,
Bowls.
they-
Well, what's going to have to
Nine,
happen
it's a
for
different
running
year.
backs is they're going to have to figure out a way to pay them earlier in their career versus later. Like,
Yeah.
they're going to have to figure that out.
I understand where teams are coming from. They want to pay him, but you can't. Also, at the same time, you cannot be saying no.
Yeah.
You're too valuable, and I want too much for you. Whereas this other
Yeah.
team is willing to pay them, so you can't play both sides on that, man. If
Yeah,
If
that's
it's
where
not
I
valuable,
feel-
get rid of them.
That's why I'm with. It's like that whole first round pick. It's like, okay, that's bummy because no one's going to pay that. And you're not willing to pay this guy, so you're just going to piss him off. So, like, you're going to be in this conundrum.
But it's
really
fine. It's
dumb.
fine. I'm a Titans fan, so Titans have swept the Colts past 2 seasons, and I would love to see it a third time.
I think Colts are going to be in one of the teams in contention for the first pick. Going to be in the lottery for Caleb Williams.
Bro, if I was
I'm
Caleb
very
Williams, I might
skeptical
pull Eli and say I'm not going to Indianapolis.
I'm very skeptical about Anthony Richardson.
I'm not hopeful
I
with
don't
him
think
in
he should-
Indy
I don't think
if he
should
was somewhere
start his
else.
rookie year.
No, he shouldn't. He's a project, so he should bench. But they're playing him, and you can't trust the Colts anyway, so he's doomed. Let's say someone, it wouldn't happen, but let's say someone like Andy Reid drafted him. I would be confident that Andy Reid could do something with him. You know, who the heck's even the coach in Indy right now?
The Eagles offensive coordinator.
Eagles offense coordinator.
He's one of the many Eagles people that got jobs.
Oh, so they went back to the Eagles offensive well again, huh?
That's why I was saying the RPO thing because they're going to implement the Jalen Hurts offense. But they're going to try to at least.
That's going to be a
And
lot,
that would've
that'd be
been
a lot
good with
more
Jonathan
helpful.
Taylor was really going to be what what I thought could kind of carry them.
I see them clearly being last. I see CJ Stroud being a much better year one player. So I think the Texans would be a little bit better. And I like D'Amico Ryans.
I'm concerned with Stroud is the lack of weapons the Texans.
Well, I still have them at better than I have them at 6 wins.
So we're going to
Before you go, we didn't sing a praise about Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to possibly pass for about 4,500 yards, maybe get around 30 touchdowns. I think it's going to solidify himself as a top 7 quarterback this year.
I do think the addition of Calvin Ridley was very, very close.
What a low cost thing too.
I know, shrewd business by them, especially the fact like their receiving core did well last year, so they're not going to be as dependent on him. Like, if Calvin Ridley's not great out the gate, they're still fine.
Their offense is stacked.
Yeah.
It is, and I'm really still pissed.
If they were in the NFC, people would be talking more about them. They're just in a stacked conference.
So we're going to go into our next one, into the NFC West. Bobby, can we go? You can start off with what you have.
I have 49ers, Seattle, and the Rams, and obviously the Cardinals last place.
I have the Rams second instead of Seattle.
Really?
I can see somewhat of a regression, but I still have them as I still got Seattle at 10 wins. I just think the Rams, they might be okay. They might be terrible. That defense is apparently atrocious according to the fans.
Nobody would be worse than the Cardinals.
So, yeah, of course. Everybody's got them dead last.
fine.
I had them at like 3 wins.
Max, Bobby, and Hunter have the same thing.
Yep.
And then myself and Vitamin J have the same thing. So,
Okay, so you put the Rams second as well.
I really think Geno Smith's regret. I think last year was just a shot out of the blue. I think he's going to come back more. I'm not going to say he's going to suck. I think he's just going to come down to earth to what we saw at the end of the season when those numbers started dwindling.
The last 5 games for Geno were clearly a regression from his first 12 games. I believe in his first 12 games he had 72% completion, and then the last 5 he had 64 or so. So
Which is still pretty decent.
Even if he regresses, he still has the offense is loaded with weapons. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, the rookie they got.
JSN.
They got 2 second-round running backs with Kenneth Walker and then Zach Charbonnet.
Charbonnet.
The offense is good enough to where I can see Geno having another 4,000-yard season, maybe getting close to 30 touchdowns. So that's why I had them second. The Rams, I think, are just old. The defense they have no high-end, top young talent. Who's a good young player in that team?
As far as I know,
As I was saying, I think they're just old. And last year they got injured.
well,
so I think that's the same thing
if
could
the
happen this year.
defense is as bad as our fantasy draft rankings made it seem, then the defense, because wasn't it dead last, the Rams defense?
Yeah,
We'll
and
see.
it's probably right because think about it. Who else besides Aaron Donald could you name after they traded Jalen Ramsey away?
I
They
can't
lost,
name many players in
yeah.
that team minus Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford, and then Aaron Donald. I can't name many players.
I don't know. It's just some team's going to come down. And I think the Seahawks are most likely. I had to pick a team. I was like, I don't know. That's just the one team that I was like, I just don't. I think they're just going to regress.
But for Cardinals, I think we all agree that they're trending towards the Caleb Williams sweepstakes here. But now Kyler Murray got put on PUP or whatever for 6 games. So do y'all think he's not coming back this year?
He's not coming back. If they are smart,
If they're intentionally tanking, no.
but they're like 0-6, he's not coming back.
Bobby, do you see them winning a game with Clayton Tune or Josh
And that's the
Dobbs?
only way they are going to win. If like the other quarterbacks just get hurt and they got to resort to like the punter throwing the ball.
Okay, hold on, Bobby. Let's go to Arizona's schedule. Let me see if you think they'll win any of these. Okay, first game, Commanders. I think the Commanders aren't great, but they'll lose that game. Then they play the Giants, Cowboys, 49ers, Bengals, then Rams.
Oh, shit.
So the only one they have a shot in is the first game.
Good Lord. Woo, yeah, that's
Dallas,
yeah,
49ers,
but
Bengals. That's tough right there.
I hope their new coach made a deal of like, hey, I don't get fired if we suck, right? After the first year, right?
If Steve Wilkes only got 1 year, he deserves only 1 year. That's all I'm saying.
They could potentially, if Kyler Murray does not come back, they could potentially be an 0-17 team.
I think I'm gonna have them 1 win, dude. 1 win.
So yeah, clear worst team, but then we'll just move on to the 49ers. The 49ers to me are interesting. I do have them having the best record in the NFC. If Brock Purdy holds up and is as good as he looked last year, then yeah, they could definitely be a Super Bowl contender. But the question is, can he keep that up? And Kyle Shanahan's offense, I think he can. If he was in any other offense, I don't even think he'd be a starter, to be honest.
I think Brock Purdy, just the offense is it's very bulletproof. Look at Christian McCaffrey, Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Ayuk. Like, they got so many weapons that it is such friendly offense for a quarterback.
His father Mike Shanahan had the running back offense where you could plug in any running back, and they'd be great. Kyle Shanahan has that with quarterbacks. Even made C.J. Beathard look pretty good for a while. Not great, but it looked serviceable.
Nick Mullins.
Yeah, he made Nick Mullins. And they always quote this stat: first, however many passing yards in the first 4 starts, Nick Mullins is right behind Patrick Mahomes.
I think he's gonna get it done. If not, my boy is back up. My boy, his time might be coming.
If Sam Darnold starts games for them, I think he'll look pretty good. I mean, it's going to be hard not to, but you'll finally get what you want, Phil, if that happens. You'll finally get it.
Don't let it happen.
So that's pretty much it with the NFC West, but I'll be shocked. Everyone will be shocked that the 49ers don't win that easily.
I'll be shocked.
All right, we're going to go into the next division. We're going to stay in the NFC, and we're actually going to go to the NFC East.
I got Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, Commanders, but Giants and Commanders I have being pretty close together.
You think Sam Howell's going to be pretty decent, huh?
For 7 wins, yeah.
Nah, I got 6, just a shade below. 6 is good. Yeah, same order, but then Giants are making playoffs again.
Nah, I got Giants out.
Yeah, I got them out.
I still have the Eagles. I think the streak is broken. We will have the first since 2004 back-to-back. I just don't think anybody... I know their schedule's harder. I just don't think anybody matches them.
Well, I will grant you, the Cowboys do have a legitimate shot. They got Brandon Cooks on offense. That Brandon Cooks produces no matter where he's at. The defense is absolutely stacked. They traded for Stephon Gilmore, so that's another good corner there. So I think they do have a legitimate shot of potentially winning the NFC East. But again, as we all know, the Cowboys, that doesn't really mean anything when it comes to playoffs.
I actually have the Giants second, then the Cowboys, then the Commanders.
I definitely don't see that.
Here's why. Here's again where I know this is me being Homer. It's not really. I think the Giants improved a little bit. Them getting Darren Waller, I think, is going to help Daniel Jones a whole lot. Where I think it's going to hurt Cowboys, and where I'm skeptical, I think their offense. I think them losing their offensive coordinator is going to come back to bite them a little more.
I do agree with that because I see Cowboys fans all the time, especially last year. They're dogging Kellen Moore. I'm like, are you kidding me? Ever since Kellen Moore took over for the Cowboys, this offense has been explosive. But they want to put that more on Dak and all that. But I'm like, dude, you going from Kellen Moore, who this is a quote. I'm not going to quote it verbatim, but this is a quote from Mike McCarthy. He said, Kellen Moore just wants to light up the scoreboard, whereas I just want to run the ball. I'm like, okay, so I want to take the guy who wants to light up the scoreboard, the guy who wants to run the ball. So Mike McCarthy is calling plays this year, I believe. So if he truly intends on having a run first offense, which I don't believe, but if he does, then that works in my favor because I'm an Eagles fan. I just don't see him being as good as play caller as Kellen Moore. I thought Kellen Moore was perfectly fine as a play caller past few years.
Now the question is, guys, if Dak struggles this year, do they turn to Trey Lance next year?
Next year, maybe. I thought you were going to say this year. This year,
no, but next year, maybe. Are we sure Mike McCarthy, we saw it in Green Bay and he had Aaron Rodgers, and are we really trusting Mike McCarthy to call plays?
No.
Also, with them, I know Zeke wasn't great at the end, but you're putting it all on Tony Pollard, who's undersized, has yet to prove he can take the whole load. We're now going to run the ball a lot with him. There's a lot of, and the line has started to regress a little. Are we 100% sure this offense is going to be what we think? Their defense is going to be amazing. I just don't know about their offense.
I think they'll still be second in the division. I think they still make playoffs. I have them with 11 wins. The Mike McCarthy thing, really the X factor here.
Too many questions for me. I think now with the Giants of having a year 2 with Dayball, same coach, same coordinator, I think Daniel Jones has progressed well. They've made some moves, gotten the line a little bit better. Defense is coming back, still going to be solid. I don't think they win it by much. I think they just edge out the Cowboys.
The only thing with the Giants is that the receivers, they drafted players, and Jalen Hyatt looks good, but they drafted players in the second round before, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Kadarius Toney was a first-round pick. Haven't panned out. We still have no proven receiver on the Giants, right? Because who is the Giants' top receiver that's a veteran? Would it be Sterling Shepard still?
It technically would be.
Or actually, no, it would be my guy, Darius Slayton. He's the best receiver in that team.
I mean, I get it from that end, but I also feel a lot of those picks were made pre-Dayball. That's why I'm giving them a little bit more leeway. Also, them not taking a top receiver was unfortunately because their picks, Jacob and I unfortunately had to watch, is every team freaking took a receiver, and every receiver they wanted was just swooped up, boom, 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 all right before the Giants can take one. I'm dead set on they were going to take somebody in the first round, but then the Chargers, the Vikings, some Seattle all took receivers, all took the top receivers right before they got
Not the first year that happened, is it?
Yeah, it's like, yeah. And look at last time they did it. And I knew Smith was, I was so upset. I knew Smith was going to be.
I knew he was like, the only question was, is he going to hold up?
I mean, Commanders, I feel, are clear last. I don't think it. Their quarterback, just Sam Howell. Like, I think they're clear last place.
I think Sam Howell has some potential. I think he'll look better than both quarterbacks from last year, just because also Eric Bieniemy is the coordinator. Scott Turner was an awful play caller for them. Eric Bieniemy, I think even both the quarterbacks they had last year would have looked better on this team, just because Eric Bieniemy is a much better play caller. So that I do think is an improvement. They do have good offensive weapons: Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Chris Samuel, pretty good receiver trio. So I can see them doing all right, but clearly last in that division. But let's move on. Let's talk about one team in that division, Eagles. Now, would they be as successful? They do have a first place schedule, so I don't see them winning 13 games. Like, was it 13 or 14 games they won last year? I don't see them win that many, but I still see them being up there as long as they don't have any major injuries. But Jalen Hurts, I think he's pretty much solidified himself as of right now the best quarterback in the NFC.
Has he though?
Who's better than him in the NFC?
I mean, I gotta think. You just put me on a spot like that.
Oh,
Look at the NFC, dude.
He's 100%. He is the best quarterback.
Look at the NFC. You're like, yeah, I guess so.
You got
yeah.
Kirk Cousins.
He's a top 5 quarterback.
One. Bryce Young.
Jared Goff.
The Goffster.
Derek Carr, no slouch.
These guys.
I think Jalen Hurts could potentially, now with their schedule being harder, they could have to throw more. I don't think the defense is going to get 70-plus sacks again. So I can see Jalen Hurts throwing more, and I can see him potentially breaking Winston's passing yard record and passing touchdown record this year.
Well, also their defense getting one of the steals of the draft late in the first round.
Carter, yeah.
Reports now, it's only practice in preseason. They said Jalen Carter looks every bit as good as I thought he was.
Everyone said he was like a top 1 talent, just character.
Oh, and now they got Jordan Davis, who really didn't do much last year, so now he's got a year into his system.
Yeah, they got two big hog mollies up there.
Mm-hmm. And then they got Nolan Smith just to top it all off behind Hassan Riddick, Nakobe. They're just loaded on, especially for pass rushers.
Give the Eagles a few more years. That whole defense is going to be nothing but Georgia players.
Must be nice. You only got to watch one team and do your scouting.
Yep.
All right. We're going to go into our next division. We're going to switch over to the AFC North. I'll go with what I have. So I have the Bengals, then the Steelers, Ravens, and then the Browns.
It's slightly different. The Bengals still up top, then Ravens, then Steelers, then Browns.
See, that's not even what I got. I got Bengals, Ravens, Browns, Steelers. The thing is, I got the Bengals at 11 wins. I got the Steelers at 9 wins because, as I've learned last year, you always got to have Steelers with a winning record. Mike Tomlin simply would not be under 500.
Yeah, I actually have the Steelers with a losing record this year.
Didn't you learn from last year? That team wasn't even good last year. They still had a winning record.
That's very bold. Very bold.
Watt didn't even play most of the year last year.
That's why I have him second. My thing is, Mike Tomlin has not missed playoffs back-to-back years. Mike Tomlin has always had a winning record. I think he's going to do well again. They got Pickett for a second season into that system. I think that's going to help. They had a good defense, and TJ Watt did not play for most of that year. I don't foresee TJ Watt getting hurt again. He's not really, knock on wood, I don't think he's really injury prone. I think their defense just bounced back. The reason I had him second is I know the Ravens made all the additions, but again, there are a whole lot of injury prone players. Lamar Jackson, injury prone.
But hey, his backup is a Pro Bowler, Phil.
I mean,
wouldn't it be kind of karma after last year and everybody have the reservations of paying him because he might get hurt and then he gets hurt? You now have J.K. Dobbins, who's good for 3 games? OBJ has missed a year, injury prone before that. Are we sure he's going to even last? With me, I really just have a lot of questions of, do I really think that team's going to stay healthy, that offense? No, I don't. I'm not wishing injury, but I'm like, I don't think Lamar Jackson, J.K. Dobbins, and OBJ all make it this season healthy.
I believe even on defense, didn't Marlon Humphrey, isn't he hurt?
I think so.
I think they're going to be around 9-10 wins. I have them at 10, just assuming people are healthy. Some people are expecting Lamar Jackson to pop off like he did in 2019 for his MVP season.
I don't know about
It's not
that.
going to be that good. He's actually regressed as a passer since then.
Yeah. Does everybody think Cleveland's gonna be dead last?
No, I got Steelers.
Damn, really? No.
But I got them with the same record. So.
No. No, I have Cleveland. They'd be lucky in my book to get 7 wins.
To me, Cleveland always finds a way. Because I've been hearing they have stacked team for years and years.
Mhm.
It's always finding a way to disappoint you.
The big thing about Cleveland was just you have to take a risk of can Deshaun Watson return to somewhat of what he was. Not completely, but somewhat of what he was in Houston. If he can turn to like 75% of that, then that team becomes a very interesting team.
Yeah, if he returns to Houston, Deshaun Watson, that at the time was the top 5 quarterback. But last year he didn't look great. Now he has some rust, obviously, so now he's off season, so he should look better. But I just think you look at the quarterbacks in the league. I just don't know if he's not going to be top 5 no more. He's not better than most of these guys. And Bobby said the similar thing. What I was thinking, they always said they have a stacked roster. Do they? Because I know they have good top end players, especially on defense. But like, let's think about offense. Okay, they have Amari Cooper. He's pretty solid. Elijah Moore. We don't know what he is yet. He was on the Jets. Was it the Jets or was it him? So we don't know there. Who was the other receiver? Donovan Peoples-Jones. He was actually pretty decent last year. David Njoku has not. They keep hyping him up. He's never lived up to his billing. And this division's tough. You're not going 6-0 in this division.
No.
That's
We haven't even talked about the Bengals yet. They're clearly the best team because they got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Joe Burrow with the top one of the best receiving cores in the league. The defense is getting better. I just have a hard time, as long as Joe Burrow's healthy, seeing any of the teams really competing with them. But I think playoff purposes, the Bengals have the potential to go further than anyone else in this division.
and here's the thing with the Bengals, like even if they start off slow, like the past couple years they've started off slow, they figure it out.
They got the best receiver, best wide receiver 2, and they have a really good wide receiver 3.
You think they have the best receiver? You think he's better than
He's
Justin
not the
Jefferson?
best. No, he's not better.
Said this division.
Yeah, he's the best in the division, yeah.
T. Higgins could be the number 1 option on the team. And Tyler Boyd's not bad.
Like, that would be it for that division. All right, and we are going to go to the AFC East.
Last year we said NFC West was the best division. I'll let Jacob do his order, but I think this year the AFC East is clearly the best division.
So, of course, I got the Bills, 1, Miami Dolphins, 2. I had them a game apart. Jets would be 3. I don't think they're going to be as good as people think. They will still have a winning record, but they're not going to make playoffs. And then New England is dead
Yeah, I got the
last.
same.
Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots.
That's what I got too.
I have the Patriots winning 4 games. I think they'll clearly
Damn.
one quarterback and then 2 running backs now. I don't know, something's going on.
I have the Dolphins, Jets, Bills, Pats.
Wow, Bill third?
Yes,
Dang,
I
that's a
will
spicy.
go with.
That's spicy.
There's some team that's going to drop. 1 lost defensive coordinator. Now Sean McDermott's going to have to call defensive plays as well. Next, Von Miller. That defense suffered once Von Miller got out. Once Von Miller got hurt, that defense was not the same, and they could not get to the quarterback. I feel, again, Brian Daboll helped Josh Allen a lot. And we started noticing last year his interceptions and his turnovers went up. I think, again, another year out of it, feel he's going to have more interceptions. I think he's still going to have a great year, but I think he's going to turn over the ball a little bit more than where everybody's expecting. That Stephon Diggs thing at the beginning of the year, I know it's been swept under the rug. I think it's going to surface some point in the year. Mine's more of a Bills regression than a Jets up. I just think Aaron Rodgers can win them a couple more games. But I think with Aaron Rodgers and everything they added to that offense, I think the offense is just Aaron Rodgers doesn't have to play great. I think he could literally play as well as he did last year, and this team's far better. I know the line's still a big issue of that's kind of, but those are kind of the things I went with. And Dolphins, it's mainly Tua. I think Tua can stay healthy, and I think if he stays healthy, you're good.
Mike McDaniels is a really good offensive mind.
Yeah, the division, though, is tougher than it's ever been for Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
And I think his quarterback is clearly the worst of the 4 in the division. And so I think they're clearly the worst team. If Bill Belichick gets a winning record with this team in this division, I think it would be a master class.
Defense. It'll be because of that defense.
If he gets a winning record, people stop it with this Belichick slander. I think he should already stop it, but please stop it with this Belichick if he can get a winning record with this team. What are your thoughts on the Jets across the board?
They're interesting to me.
Playoffs.
I have them at 10-7 as the last wild card in, but if Aaron Rodgers is the same quarterback as last year, I can see them not making playoffs. However, if he is, but I believe Aaron Rodgers is still good. He was more hampered by Green Bay not giving him anything to work with besides a second-round rookie receiver, and so I think he could rebound. I don't know if he's ever going to be as good as he was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but I think he'll be better than what he was last year. Meaning I don't see him throwing 10 picks again this year unless he bottoms out like Favre did for the Jets.
I think they also had a shrewd move with getting Dalvin Cook. So now if you give Breece Hall longer to recover so he doesn't have to be a starter right away, gives you more weapons. Aaron Rodgers, last year, people remember I was down on the Packers. I said they're not winning that division. I pointed to Aaron Rodgers and several things out. This year, I think he's done a better job of one. I think last year humbled him a lot he's now communicated with the rookies a lot more he's gone to training camps. I think he's gone to a lot of the mandatories, like even the voluntary stuff of trying to get a good rapport with the receiving core. He gave them money to make sure that team can get better, to open up cap space. I think Aaron Rodgers has something to prove this year. I'm not thinking Super Bowl for them, but I think they're just going to be second. The one thing that worries me is that beginning schedule is not easy. So, but I think they can go 500. I think if they go 500, they can smooth sail for the rest of the season.
I mean, it's honestly better to get that out of the way, though, in my opinion, to have that at the end where you need to pick up a few wins to go to the playoffs. So it might work out in their favor. But they got loaded defense. If Garrett Wilson is as good as everyone's hyping him up to be, people expected him to blow up this year. So I could definitely see them making some waves here. But I just think, I'll put them at 10-7. I think they'll definitely improve, but I don't see them being the number one in this division.
Let's go to the Dolphins. Everybody's thoughts.
I mean, I wish I got Jonathan Taylor. I would have had them at 13-14.
Yeah, I would have had them. I would have had them over the Bills.
So it really just depends on Tua's health. That's pretty much what the Dolphins season boils down to.
I do think they are definitely, if they hit the stride, a potential Super Bowl contender. It'd be just because of the offense. I mean, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, that's hard to stop. If they had Jonathan Taylor too, I mean, you couldn't possibly stop them unless Tua got hurt. But the defense is okay. The defense is maybe what holds them back because I think it's okay. But on to the Bills. I disagree with the Bills take Phil. I think the Bills are still going to be the top one in this division. I understand your turnover thing with Josh Allen, but I mean, the man, he's done it in order. 37 touchdown passes, 36, 35, which means this year it's over 34. The turnovers are bad, and he's kind of doing a little bit too much running and dancing around. So some of he's getting pressured a lot, but some of that's him holding onto the ball. But I think Gabriel Davis is going to have a better year. They just drafted Dalton Kincaid. They have two pretty decent tight ends now with Dawson Knox and Kincaid, like I said. And Stephon Diggs is still going to be a stud. Unless they are bad or fall like you think, I think Stephon Diggs is going to be okay for the rest of the year. If they don't win a Super Bowl, he's out of there. I don't see him coming back. But I think he'll be pretty good while they're still in contention. Tight division. Bills 11 wins, Dolphins 11 wins, Jets 10, Patriots 8.
All right, we're going to go back to the NFC. We're going to do the NFC North.
Yeah, this division is a tough one. I could see three teams possibly winning. Hey, if Jordan Love is as good as the past two quarters have been, they could even win the division. But this division, to me, I think was the toughest one to pick for me. I had the Vikings winning it again, though, just because they have I can base it off more of what I've seen recently. I didn't think they were that good last year at 13-4. I still don't think they're that great. I have them as 11 wins, though. I had the Lions second, Bears third, Packers fourth.
That's a way different line. I like that. I'm all aboard the Lions hype train. So I got the Lions winning, and then Vikings second, Packers third, Bears fourth.
Yeah, I have Vikings, Lions, Packers, Bears.
Yep, Vikings, Lions, Packers, Bears. Yep.
I have Lions, Vikings, Bears, Packers. I don't believe in Jordan Love.
So a lot of y'all don't have faith in Justin Fields, it looks like.
I just don't have faith in the Bears.
I
Dude,
don't think it's just Fields. I don't think they made the team that
what's his
as good as
record though as a
they think it
starter?
should be.
What is his
5 and
record?
20.
Not
Yeah,
good.
5-20.
5 and 20.
So I don't see them getting that much better this season. We'll see. Maybe I'm dead wrong, and they're going to have 10 wins.
They
No.
added DJ Moore, but I don't think they added enough on the offense.
Well, I mean, Darnell Mooney's not terrible. He's healthy.
They just didn't use him that well last year.
Cole Kmet got, I think, 7 receiving touchdowns
Yeah,
last year. So they have a
he
decent
got
tight
good
end.
near the end. Cole Kmet got really good near the
And
end.
Yeah.
they did invest a lot in their defense, but I think they invested too much on like inside linebackers.
And I will say, for Justin Fields, I think he's going to look better this year, but a lot of people are thinking he's going to, like, potentially shoot up to
Look what Jalen Hurts
MVP.
did.
Oh, I don't
I'm
see
like,
that. No,
One, if
That's
you
what I'm
watch
trying to
Justin
put it-
Fields, if you watch Justin Fields throw the football versus Jalen Hurts, it's totally different. Jalen Hurts is way more, or sorry, not Jalen Hurts. Justin Fields is way more inaccurate. I remember watching him against the Eagles last year. He was throwing screen passes into the dirt, and it wasn't like there was pressure on him. He just missed the throw.
And
So
no
we'll
offense,
see if he's got better.
His number 1 and number 2 receivers are not Devontae Smith and AJ Brown.
Yeah.
DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, they're not close to being the same duo as the Eagles got.
I think maybe next year they can do something, but this year I don't think Justin Fields can make the leap that I've heard somebody is like comparable to Jalen Hurts, whereas Jalen Hurts, I at least saw it, and also I saw, they added AJ Brown. Devontae Smith's got another year. They like put a lot around him and invested a good line, a good running game, stacked receiving core. That's why I could also see the leap happening of like, oh man, he's really got all the pieces to succeed. Justin Fields, I'm like, did they really give him all that? Like, it's better. Let's talk a little bit about the Packers. I'm gonna be honest. I just do not believe in Jordan Love.
I don't.
Really don't.
I'm gonna have to see it.
I was like, it's the Packers. They generally just find a way to win. Even after like Aaron Rodgers' first year, they were okay. But they just find a way to just do better than the Bears.
Yeah, but that was Aaron Rodgers. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think Jordan Love was good at all. Like, as bad as Aaron Rodgers was bad last year, I don't think Jordan Love's even going to be that good.
I'll be honest with you. I think Jordan Love about to surprise you.
I do think Jordan Love is not going to be as bad as people think, but not as good as some Packers
I'm
fans.
thinking. I mean, I know it's preseason, but I'm watching him in the preseason, and I'm thinking he looks pretty damn good.
I only put so much stock in preseason sometimes with certain things.
But the Packers as a whole, still on offense, they got two good tandem running backs. But the receivers, Christian Watson, we saw how he did with Aaron Rodgers, looked pretty good for a while. We'll see if he has a connection with Jordan Love. But we don't know how good he is just yet. So we have a lot of question marks on offense.
I'm still skeptical of Matt LaFleur about his coaching. It's really good to easy to look good when you have Aaron Rodgers, 2-time MVP as your quarterback. Now, can you do it when Rodgers ain't there?
Yeah, it's 4-time.
Well, I'm saying, wow, he was a 2-time while he coached him. While he coached him, he won 2 MVPs. Like, now you don't have that. Let's see how good. Are you still that good? Because I don't think you are. Yeah. So,
but
right.
Let's go talk about the Lions. Since Hunter is all in there. I definitely think they got potential. There's a reason the NFL put them in the first game of the season against the Chiefs. They clearly think the Lions have something this year.
Hoping to God that's a shootout.
The real question mark for them is going to be defense, I think, because the defense still wasn't very good last year. I know they made some improvements. The pick they had, Aiden Hutchinson, looked pretty good last year, but still the secondary didn't look great. So that could be the one thing holding them back. I think the offense is going to be explosive, especially if Jameson Williams comes back from his suspension and does what he looked like he could do.
Yeah, I'm believing in the hype of the offense. My reason I had them number 1 is Vikings were 13 and whatever last year. They won like 8 one-score games, and they had like a record number of fourth-quarter comebacks. I don't think they're not sustaining that. They're not doing that this year. That's going to put them in second spot.
Well, and they got rid of Dalvin Cook, and they're hoping Alexander Mattison can, replicate that. But we don't know. He's never been the one guy. Defense is not good like it was when Kirk Cousins first got there. It's actually not very good at all right now. They did get rid of some older players, so we'll see maybe the younger guys can step up. Losing Thielen, though, he's not great anymore. He's kind of older now, but still, he's a leader. He knows what he's doing. He's valuable for playoffs.
On the Panthers now, he's great.
All right, pal.
1,000-yard season upcoming.
No, I can see him getting 10 touchdowns before I see him get 1,000 yards.
Yeah, he's gonna have like 700 yards and touchdowns.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Speaking of Thielen, we're actually going to go to the division he switched to, and we're going to talk about the NFC South.
Yeah, let me go ahead and do my order. I got Saints, Panthers, Bucks, Falcons.
Saints, Panthers, Falcons, Bucks.
Yeah, that's what I have.
It's my.
I had to do it. I'm fully believing Baker Mayfield, guys. I'm just kidding.
I would say that's a
I was saying,
damn
no
lie.
damn
Damn lie.
way. There's no, I don't
No.
believe you.
I think this division is going to be like last year. I don't think the winner is going to have a over 500. I think the winner is going to have a sub 500 record. I don't expect a lot. I actually have it flipped from you all. I have the Panthers winning, then the Saints, then the Falcons, then the Bucks.
Yeah, I think the Saints are better than what you think.
I don't trust Dennis Allen. I think he's an incompetent coach.
They have absolutely no excuse for not winning this division. You got the most experienced quarterback. They have a good defense. They don't win this division. He needs to be fired.
Yeah, and I think Bryce Young's I think he's gonna be the rookie, that kind of rookie quarterback that has a pretty good year and shows you something this year.
I think I had the Saints as 10 wins, just 1 because the division's terrible. 2, the Saints defense is still super solid. I think they're going to keep them in more games than not. Derek Carr, besides last year, has been pretty good for a while. If Derek Carr plays like last year, I could definitely see them being under 500. But if Derek Carr plays like he did 2 years ago, I could see them winning this division, have a winning record. Because he's got Chris Olave, who people project him to do pretty well. He had 1,000 yards last year, so I can see him definitely doing that again. If Michael Thomas plays, that's a big if. That's a good receiver duo there. And when Kamara comes back, Kamara's only suspended 3 games. When he comes back, that's another weapon right there. They're not a Super Bowl contender or nothing like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's either it's them or the Panthers that are winning this division.
Okay. And look, I think Bryce Young will be the best rookie quarterback because his processing, you can just tell by the preseason, his processing was excellent.
Preseason is hard to tell with that.
I do also like their addition of Frank Reich. I do like the coach.
Yeah, their coaching staff.
He's done
real
pretty
coach.
well.
That's all that matters.
He's done well with quarterbacks, and again, that team. Once you got rid of a certain someone, Jacob's favorite guy, you start seeing it play a lot better.
Well, for Frank Reich, he's competent. That's something the Panthers haven't had in a while. Okay, I know they did. Who was the interim coach? He was pretty good, but Dave Wilk, yeah. So Steve Wilk, sorry, but yeah. So they didn't go with him. They went with Frank Reich, who throughout most of his Colts tenure was pretty solid. Dealt with a lot of stuff. Dealt with Jim Irsay, and of course the quarterback stuff with Andrew Luck and the spinning wheel there. But he got to handpick his guy here, so obviously he sees something with him. He knows how to structure offenses, so I think they'll be pretty solid. I still don't have them with a winning record or anything, but I have them trending upwards with 7
I do think they
wins.
start slow but finish hot.
That's what I think so.
If Terrence Marshall improves, how good is Jonathan Mingo? I think he looks pretty good, but we'll see. I think the biggest issue for the Panthers offensively would be that offensive line. So I don't know how good that's going to be.
Once Corbett comes back healthy, that right side solidified with him.
They cut Michael Jordan, thank God. That was
They did cut Michael Jordan. And I do like the state guard they got, Zavala. I do like him. But the left tackle, Ike Ekwonu, needs to step up. He was terrible.
We'll see there. I think the most underrated unit for the Panthers is the defense. I think their defense is solid.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if J.C. Horn can come back healthy.
If J.C. Horn can stay healthy, they got a shutdown corner. They got Byron Burns, who's one of the better pass rushers. They got Frankie Louvu, who's a really good linebacker.
Safety Jeremy Chin.
Derek Brown, if he plays like he did last year, that's going to be really good.
So they're definitely going to be competitive this year, as long as Bryce Young does what we think he can do. So I can see them being in most games, but yeah, losing records still. But next year, you might have something.
Really, all Bryce Young has to do is be better than Sam Darnold was last year, which not a huge ask.
And better than Baker.
Well, that means Sam Darnold's better than Baker. So if he's better than Sam Darnold, he's better than Baker was last year.
Speaking of Baker, I love how none of us, even with the loaded offensive weaponry,
The offense is loaded.
We still the Bucks know. Now, we definitely see Kyle Trask making starts this year, yeah?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Look, I know Bucks fans can say, well, Baker Mayfield was 14 for 15 in the preseason. We've seen the song and dance before.
Who gives a shit? Like, he's terrible.
It's preseason.
People highly overrate Baker's Rams stint. It was like one good drive, essentially.
Yeah. Well, people overrate Baker, period. We've been saying it. He had one good year in the Browns. It's really looked awful for the most part. He looked more bad than good.
Him on the Panthers was one of the statistically is one of the worst quarterbacks we've ever seen.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say, like, that Bucks team last year, not good, and they had Brady. Granted, Brady didn't play well, but even Brady at that level, you downgraded. I don't see where they've made the upgrade.
Tell me anywhere on the Bucks do you think they made an upgrade? I can't name you one position they made an upgrade on.
Yeah, so I'm like, you got the same team that Brady struggled with. I don't know where this is coming. So yeah, I'm not.
And they just lost their center again for the rest of the year. I just had them being better than the Falcons just because I think they have more talent on the team than the Falcons.
The Falcons have Arthur Smith being the first coach fired.
Honestly, I flipped a coin, really. I think the offense of the Falcons, mainly I got Bijan Robinson, I think can carry them to like.
Well, I really don't think Ritter's that good. So if that's my, I guess if he's good, that would shock me more than anything else in the season this year. Well, actually, no, if Baker Mayfield's good, that would shock me more. But but Desmond Ritter, I just don't see it. So that's why I had them last. I just think he's not very good. And the weapons, I mean, he has Kyle Pitts, Drake London. They're still young, so we don't really know how good they are yet. And we probably still won't because I think Ritter's not that good. But I can see what you're talking about. They do have young, top-end talent, supposedly, with Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London. So they do have potential there.
All right. We're going to go into our last division. It is the AFC West. All right. D3, you go ahead.
I believe I had Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, then Raiders.
Well, you're already wrong. I had Chiefs last, so.
Yeah, we know that's a lot.
I had the same order.
What was it? You said Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos?
Broncos, Raiders.
No. I think the Broncos gonna be dog shit again. So.
Well, I think Jimmy G's gonna get hurt like always. And
Jimmy G, but they still find a way to win some games.
Before we get into this, I actually had something different.
Don't tell me you had Denver high.
Oh no, I actually have the Chargers winning the division.
I made that mistake last year, Phil. I made that mistake last year.
Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders. Here's the thing. I'm really believing Kellen Moore being a huge offensive upgrade. I think.
And I think he will.
He is an amazing offensive coordinator. I think now he's got an even more talented quarterback, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. And even if one of them gets hurt, which I think one of them will at one point, Quentin Johnson, I think, is an amazing pick. They got a pretty good tight end, Austin Eckler. I think this offense is I think the plethora of what he's got with this offense is going to be amazing.
With Kellen Moore, I do agree. He's going to be a massive upgrade from Joe Lombardi because Joe Lombardi, I believe Justin Herbert had the lowest air yards per attempt in the league last year. And you're talking about a guy who's not a game manager. This guy has a rocket arm. He can make any throw. And you have him checking down most of the time. I know they have Austin Eckler, so it's always not a bad decision, but you need to open it up. He can do anything. I can see the offense exploding this year. I still don't have to see them beating the Chiefs, though. The potential's there with Kellen Moore as a coordinator.
Chiefs, again, I think it's going to be like they just get edged out by the Chargers. Chris Jones being out for a little bit. Sure he's playing the whole season?
He hasn't started.
He has started to skip the first 6-8 games.
If someone does it, Chiefs are winning that division.
Yeah. I kind of view Patrick Mahomes as I did with Peyton Manning. No matter what happens, they're winning 12 games. It doesn't matter what the rest of the team looks like. They're automatically winning 12, 13 games.
Yeah, maybe.
I think they are. I just think the Chargers are doing it too.
Retires, I may have the Chiefs.
Yeah, when Kelsey retires and they have the same receivers that they have, then yeah, I can see a regression.
No, I still have the Chiefs winning about that. I have the Chiefs winning about 12 games. I just think the Chargers are doing as well this year.
But I think we both all agree, Chiefs, Chargers, clearly the top two teams. Now the question for this division is Russell Wilson. What Russell Wilson are we getting this year?
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna go out and say he's cooked.
Oh yeah, I think it's good. I had them last in the division, so
yeah. Yeah, I have the Broncos third because one, NFL coaching matters. Hackett was incompetent. We even saw the offense. They had one of the best defenses of all time. Their offense was last in scoring. The second Hackett
what
got
was that? What
fired.
was that stat? What was that stat that the Broncos didn't allow? Like what, 18 points or whatever? Like if they had offense scored 20 points, they would have like been borderline undefeated.
They would
Yeah.
have been in the playoffs without a doubt.
I don't think their defense is going to be nearly doing that. I think it's still going to be a really good defense, but when Hackett got fired, that offense looked a lot better. I think it's a huge upgrade to Sean Payton having that control. Sean Payton can take Russell. I'm not saying he's returning to Seattle Russell. I think he could just elevate him enough to be better.
Now, if you want to know, they will have 6 more wins if they score 20 points. Just 20. They'll have 6 more wins.
I just don't think the offense is going to be as incompetent. Now, I was going to have him higher, but the Jerry Jeudy thing's scaring me a little bit because that was what they had a couple unfortunate injuries.
Also, we don't know Javonte Williams. He's coming back from an ACL tear.
Yeah.
We don't know what he's going to look like. But I have them at 9-8. The defense is so good. I think they're going to keep them in it. And the offense, of course, only has one way to go, and that's up from last year. So I see them kind of correcting that. Yeah, but there's no way, though. Did you see that Colts-Denver game last year? That's one of the worst games I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, Sean Payton's one of the best offensive minds. Even if they're middle-of-the-road team, if their defense is nearly what it was last year, they're so much better.
But for the Raiders, I don't see them drumping the Broncos just because, one, the defense isn't very good. Two, I think Jimmy Garoppolo's been propped up by Kyle Shanahan. I don't really know how good Jimmy Garoppolo is.
I think he's a downgrade from Derek Carr.
I think he is a downgrade from Derek Carr as well.
And plus, Jimmy Garoppolo is bound to get hurt.
Yep. So who's the backup there? I don't even know.
Aiden O'Connell.
Oh gosh. Josh Jacobs is coming back. They do have that, so that's good news for them. They do have Devontae Adams, but defensively, they're still trash. They were trash during Derek Carr's whole career, and they didn't really get any better. So I just don't see them. And Jimmy Garoppolo is not the kind of quarterback that's going to outscore a bad defense.
I also think Josh McDaniels' time's up. I think he gets fired. I think he lasts the season, but I think he gets fired right after the season's over.
That was the last division, so let's go ahead. Who is your first coach fired?
All right, mine's going to be, because I think they're just going to be so awful, Todd Bowles.
Yep, that was mine.
Arthur Smith.
Mine's Stefanski. I'm going a little bold here because I think the Browns are just going to be that bad.
All right, let's start off with the smaller ones. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Bijan Robinson.
I think it's pretty obvious.
I want Bryce Young. I was like, you know what?
Not a bad one.
Could be
one Panther out there.
And quarterbacks do get more of the praise, so that could be Stroud. But Bijan Robinson, I think unless it's crazy, I think he's guaranteed 1,000 yards rushing. So if they make playoffs, it will be Bryce Young. They'll give that to the quarterback, no doubt.
I just think Bijan might just put up some ridiculous numbers.
Yeah,
and I'm hoping.
Hey, Phil,
and I'm crossing my fingers. All right, next one we're gonna go with Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter, yeah.
I did Will Anderson. I thought about doing one of the cornerbacks, but I was like,
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but then I thought Jalen Carter, I think a lot of the attention is going to go to some of the other guys, that he's going to get some good stats this year.
I was thinking, what rusher is going to get a lot of playing time? I was like, Will Anderson, he's going to get a lot of playing time, so I can see him.
Yeah,
they traded a first-round pick for next year for him, so yeah, he'll definitely get a lot of playing time.
We're going to go Defensive Player of the Year. I went with who I went last year. I think he has a great year, TJ Watt.
I thought TJ Watt as well, just because we get the rebound.
No, I went different, guys. I say, you know what? Sauce Gardner, if the Jets do well, there's a lot of name recognition. You know, the voters love name recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's swagger to him. If he has a good year and the Jets play well, I think Sauce Gardner has it.
The Mountain's on mute. He has Myles Garrett as his.
I can see it. I mean, one of the best pass rushers.
All right, Offensive Player of the Year.
Christian McCaffrey.
I also have Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I'll go McCaffrey. If he's healthy, McCaffrey.
I was going to go Justin Jefferson, but he went out last year, right? So I'm not.
This
that's why.
This one's MVP for non-quarterbacks.
Yeah, this is the actual MVP.
Vitamin J has Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
The Mountain has Jamar Chase. Not a bad
I can
choice.
see that too.
I thought about it, but you'll see why I didn't.
I'll put McCaffrey.
We're going to go to Coach of the Year.
Dave Campbell.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby.
If they make the playoffs, he's getting it.
Give me Doug Peterson.
Let's go with Mike McDaniel. The Dogs have a great year. Mike McDaniel.
I could also see Robert Salah getting it
Yeah.
if they.
Yes, if they do well, that's going to be one of those. All right, I'm going to skip mine because mine is intertwined with once we do playoff stuff. All right, MVP.
Joe Burrow.
Man, what? Are y'all serious? I thought it was going to be unique with the Joe Burrow pick.
I did too. I thought I was gonna be the only one with Joe Burrow.
Dang, y'all, are you serious?
The Mountain put
Allen.
Josh Allen.
I want to do something other than Mahomes. So.
I feel. Who do you have?
My coach of the year and MVP are from the same team. I have Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. I'm all in on the Jags this year.
That's bold.
I'm going to say I have them number one seed in the AFC. Because I think they were going to win one bad division. I think it's like when the Titans won it. Crap division. They're going to rip off 13 wins. Their schedule, I think they play the NFC South this year too. So that's they're
baby.
about to sweep that too. I think they sweep their division and that.
Yeah, Trevor.
And also Mahomes won it last year, so I was like, I don't think he's winning.
Yeah, that's why I didn't pick Mahomes.
Trevor Lawrence would definitely be called elite by the end of this year, I think.
Let's do NFC first. Let's go ahead, Max. Go ahead, rattle out your NFC.
This will be an order of seed going from 1 to 7. 49ers, Eagles, Vikings, Saints, Cowboys, Lions, Seahawks.
Mountain has 49ers, Eagles, Lions, Saints, Cowboys, Vikings, Packers. All right,
Packers making playoffs. That's what
Niners, Eagles, Vikings, Saints. Let's see. Who did I have? Rams, and Detroit.
All right, D3.
I'm gonna flip it on you. I got Eagles as the 1 seed. I got 49ers, Vikings, Saints. I have the Lions. I have the Cowboys and Seattle to round out my 7th.
All right,
I have the Eagles because I didn't want to jinx them to you. I can't do it.
I have Niners, Eagles, Lions, Panthers, like I said before. Because I have them winning division, so they're going to be the 4th seed. Panthers, and then Vikings, Rams, Giants. No Cowboys making playoffs.
Wow.
Very bold. Right. Very bold.
All right. Hey, I would love it. I would love it.
Cool. Let's go AFC.
Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, Jaguars, Chargers, Dolphins, Jets.
All right. Mountain went Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, Jags, Ravens, Chargers, Dolphins.
That was close, Hunter, but that's not quite what I got. Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, Jags, Chargers, Dolphins, Ravens.
Well, definitely, I'm going Bengals at 1, Chiefs at 2, Jags at Bills at 4. That's a tough division. I can see them eating each other alive. I'm going to have Dolphins, Jets, Chargers.
I got Jags, Bengals, Chargers, Dolphins, Chiefs, Steelers, Jets.
Chiefs is a wild card team. That's
again, and it's crazy.
Hey.
But I feel 12-5. I also don't have the Bills making playoffs. I kept trying to figure out. I was like, somebody's not making it, and there's going to be a good team. Everybody's going to predict that's just it's not going to perform, and I think it's the Bills miss it. All right, AFC Championship game.
I have the Chiefs beating the Bengals.
Chiefs over Dolphins.
I got the Bengals beating the Chiefs.
I got Bengals over Chiefs.
That was Bills versus 5 Bengals, I think.
All right, NFC.
I did this probably because I didn't want to jinx my team, but I have San Francisco beating the Eagles.
Eagles over the Vikings. I have the Niners being upset by a certain Danny Dimes early.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
Danny Dimes.
49ers over Eagles.
Yeah, I wanted to go 49ers Eagles, but I was like, I don't think it's 2 years in a row. I went a little different. I just kind of threw it up. I think the Eagles are going to be, it's Eagles over the Rams.
Ooh. Rams getting up there. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I just kind of.
Boy, that's spicy. Boy. I need some milk to wash that down. Jeez.
I just feel the 49ers Eagles is just not going to happen 2 years in a row. And I was like, I think the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl again. I had to pick somebody different.
Well, I honestly think, in my opinion, the NFC is really a 3-team race between, and Mike's mentioned the Eagles, 49ers, and Cowboys would be the 3 I would think are the top 3.
Lions, baby, let's go.
See?
I was thinking the Lions for a second. All right, Super Bowl. Let's see what you all got. So the Mountains got Bills over 49ers.
Oh,
Finally
pretty good. Finally doing it.
I have Bengals over Eagles. I think they lose for a second year, and this is Joe Burrow's year.
Boy, that would hurt. That would hurt a lot.
I have the Chiefs beating the Eagles again.
2 years in a row, huh?
Yeah, that would
That's
be
tough.
foul. That would be foul, wouldn't it?
That's tough. That's tough.
You would hate the Chiefs.
I would curse Patrick Mahomes' name. I have Chiefs beating the 49ers.
I have the Bengals beating the 49ers.
I get some revenge.
Joey B's year.
I was thinking Chiefs, but I'm like, it's just so hard to repeat.
Hey, Mahomes is just that dude, so.
He's that guy, but like many QBs have tried.
And it's so hard to repeat.
In order to win, everything's just got to
It's
fall
crazy
your way.
no
And
one
I'm
has
like,
repeats.
everything has to fall your way. Like Chiefs last year, they don't get that call, that holding call. I think the Eagles would have beat them. They don't get that call at the end. Eagles.
Jalen Hurts outside
Are
of
we
fumble was playing fantastic.
Yeah, are we sure? Because I had no doubt in my mind, Jalen, they were marching down that field and scoring.
Yeah,
Are we sure? Like,
it's so crucial.
it's so like that's why I laugh when people are like, "Oh, Mahomes is gonna win 8 and tie Brady." I'm like, no, it's really hard to. It's really hard to win a Super Bowl. Like a lot of things have to fall your way. A lot of calls got to go your way. Injuries got to go your way. Like
I think
this much.
Mahomes will retire with probably around 4 or 5.
I think he gets 3 or 4.
Yeah, right. I think so.
Yeah.
Around 4.
There you go. There's our NFL predictions for this season. We are going to revisit this at the end of the season to see how we did. Some of us, mainly me, might have gone crazy, but whatever. I was so like, I just kind of had to put stuff on paper. Let us know your predictions if you want to put them below. Let us know who you guys got for what you agree with, what you don't agree with. And we will be starting up once the NFL season starts. We will be starting our NFL show once again, every week, recapping each and every week. Again, my name's Legacy.
And I'm Max.
I'm Bobby.
Simon J.
And Hunter.